Did y'all want his $1,200 shoes he had on his feet? Senseless. Y'all killed my baby for nothing.
Elijah Reese was a sophomore at East English Village. He was well liked. He was super popular. But his family stated, most importantly, he was loved. Elijah was loving, caring, and could be silly at times. Elijah was the youngest of 3 siblings. Elijah's mother recalled a time when she was super sick and on her deathbed. She stated, Elijah took very good care of me. He got me back to walking again. Elijah's mother also questioned, why did God save her just to take her baby? Unfortunately, events would take place on May 22nd, 2024 that would change the lives of Elijah, Elijah's family, and Elijah's friends forever.
Detroit police, along with the Sheriff's Department and MSP, were on the scene quickly, but it was too late. A 14-year-old boy had been shot and killed in this vacant lot right off the 94 service drive near King Richard Street. Now, neighbors who fear reprisals and don't want to be on camera tell us a group of teens who aren't usually in the area appeared to be hanging out, and there was no friction until all of a sudden they heard raised voices and then gunshots. Neighbors tell us they saw one shooter and one gun, and after the bullets stopped, that 14-year-old boy was dead in the grass. He was a student at DPSCD's East English Prep at Finney, as were some of the other teens who were out there with him. They were less than a mile from the school when the shooting happened, and school staff, including the principal and the dean, rushed over to try and be of help. Back here live, we know that there were other students from East English Village Prep Academy who were out there with him. We also know that Detroit police have taken multiple teenagers in for questioning. At this point, however, it is unclear whether they have the shooter in custody. Police are being very tight-lipped. They aren't saying whether they've got that person in custody or not, but I will tell you, neighbors tell us this whole thing just made no sense to them. They couldn't understand why the kids were over there in the first place, and it seemed benign at the time that they were just, being teenagers and hanging out. And then the next thing you know, raised voices and then gunshots.
I spoke to one neighbor who said she heard what she thought was a firecracker, but then she looked up and saw a suspect with a gun and then more gunshots, and then she ran inside for cover.
It was really crazy.
Shanita Shamley has lived here on Bedford near the Unclear Ford service drive for more than a decade and says never has she experienced something like what happened last night.
Guys came up, they were just talking. It looked like they were talking from my point of view.
According to police, 16-year-old Elijah Reese, a sophomore at East English Prep Academy, was walking with a friend here on Bedford when the two were confronted by 3 men, and one of those men had a gun.
Then I couldn't see what happened. And then I heard the shots, and then they were running. You could still hear the shooting. And when I seen they had a gun, I ran in the house.
According to police, Reese was shot in the chest and died at the scene. And Reese may have been the victim of a robbery gone bad. Today, the East English Prep Academy released this statement. We are deeply saddened by the loss of a 10th grade student who was fatally shot yesterday off school grounds. The incident occurred nearly 2 miles from the school in the latter part of the afternoon. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of the student during this difficult time. We have no reason to believe this act of violence was directly connected to the school or its students. As a precautionary measure, additional police presence will be at the school until the end of the school year. Today, work in school was canceled to allow students and staff to process and mourn the loss of a student.
Just couldn't believe it, you just double check, like, you sure it's him?
His former dean and mentor, Tucson Knight, rushed to the scene where family was doubled over, learning Elijah was gone.
There's no way to make sense, and I think, and you hear these stories, very often, which is like, it's unbelievable.
Tucson, who runs a mentor program called Caught Up, delivering the news to other teens just like Elijah, who are rocked by this devastating news.
There's a lot of people out here that they have nothing to lose. So what ends up happening is they don't mind using weapons and things like that.
Tucson met with Elijah's family Thursday and says they're holding up just about as well as you'd imagine.
My heart goes out to them because, they have to bury their child, and whoever wants to do that.
Elijah Reese was walking home from school, East English Prep, when he was shot 3 times and killed. It was 4 in the afternoon last Wednesday, a shooting that should shake up every person in Metro Detroit. And at a vigil for Elijah Monday night, we learned a new clue from Elijah's mother about why anyone would target the fun-loving 16-year-old.
Or did y'all want his $1,200 shoes he had on his feet? Because that's what I'm thinking. Y'all wanted his, what was the name of them shoes? Alexander McQueen's, that y'all didn't even get. Senseless. Y'all killed my baby for nothing.
Teens were shot and killed for their Air Jordan sneakers years back. This time, Elijah worked a job, and his mom says he bought a pair of $1,200 shoes. They are from the late designer Alexander McQueen, and they look like this.
I think people should be allowed to wear whatever they want, but the challenge is that there are other people who just want to take it from them.
Local 4 crime and safety expert Darnell Blackburn.
It's just challenging because there's so many other people who just want what you have, and they may be envious of you. You never know what the circumstances are. They may need money, or they may just want to take something from you because they don't have it.
It's a hard day for everybody. I mean, our family is trying to stick together. We're trying to stay strong for one another. The family stick together.
Thinks they're going to have a service.
Well, nobody wants to go through what we're going through right now. I mean, the teenagers they killing kids and they don't even know why they killing.
The family of Elijah Reese taking the time after funeral services were held for the teen today to speak with us. 16-year-old Reese was shot and killed on Detroit's east side May 22nd as he walked home from school with a friend. A dozen days later, and the young gunman has not yet been found.
Any arrests?
No arrests right now. I mean, police, we're just gonna let them handle it. Mm-hmm. They, you don't want to rush them due to the fact of it is they could rush and then end up letting the guys off by going too fast.
Reese's mother, Jamie, his father, Lewis, say they have to be patient and wait for police to do their work. The family with a message for that gunman after this very difficult day.
If you out there and you know you did it, man, turn yourself in, because you can't run. City too small and everybody talks.
Hello, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to Karen Classified. I hope you guys comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. I also hope you leave your comments down within the section below. Here we have a story about a young man by the name of Elijah Reese that was 16 years old. And on his way home, unfortunately, someone tried to rob him and they took his life. They stated that in the commission of the robbery, Elijah slapped the person's hand away. And that's when they fired off 3 rounds. And he was pronounced deceased at the scene. You guys, my heart goes out to Elijah's family. I'm praying for comfort for them. And I'm also praying for justice. My prayers is that justice is served. And that the perpetrators are found. This is an overall sad situation. His mother explained that he worked to save up $1,200 to buy these designer shoes that are called Alexander McQueen, and that these are shoes that he wanted, so he saved up to buy them. And there's a big debate going on online in regards to these designer shoes, and I'm going to insert a video after my commentary. There's a young lady that speaks on community involvement and how it takes a village, which, you know, I agree with that. However, she also stated that we're not going back to Payless. We're not going back to kids. We can buy our children whatever we want to buy them, and it should be perfectly fine. They should not have to worry about being harassed. That statement is also true. However, another conversation needs to be had about the risk when you decide to wear these things, because it's a risk. We are in an unforgiving economy where people are grasping at straws just to pay rent. And in my opinion, if someone tried to get shoes from you, if someone tried to get your purse, if someone tries to get your wallet, if someone tries to take your car, if they try to rob you of all those things, let them have it. I'd rather them rob you of everything that is materialistic instead of robbing you of your life. I'd rather you walk away above ground to be able to tell your story, because the reality is everything that I just mentioned can be replaced, but your life cannot be replaced. So we could say, yeah, I could buy my kids whatever, they should be able to whatever, but also explain the risk that is involved with it. I'm not victim shaming, not at all. My prayers truly go out to his family. However, when we have these conversations about I could get my kid whatever, we need to have these other conversations as well. Like I said, I'm going to insert her video after this commentary. And in my opinion, when it comes to my kid, even if that's something that she wanted, I always ask her, well, do you have this and do you have that? Do you have this? Do you have that? No, ma'am. Well, you should not be getting that. Allow your money to work in other places. Financial responsibility. Generational wealth. Don't do what I did in my younger days, because had I known then what I know now, I would be so much more prepared. I don't know, you guys. Again, my heart goes out to the family. My heart goes out to Elijah. My prayers are with all of them. However, we got to move smarter. We have to be smart about the things that we do. We have to understand the value of life. We have to. Again, I'm going to insert her video. I would like to get you guys' opinion, because we're a little undivided when I speak to my friends, and some of them feel, yeah, you should be able to do whatever. But I'm like, yeah, you can, but this is what we're facing. And not only that, when I talk to my friends, I'm like, you can't have people to sympathize with you if you have $5,000 shoes on your feet and someone take your life, and then now we have to build up a GoFundMe. It's like priorities are backwards. I don't know. Again, you guys, I thank you all for tuning in to Karen Classified. I hope you guys comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. I really, really would like to get this dialogue going, because if I'm on the wrong track of thinking, please pull me back on. Again, thank you for listening to Karen Classified. I hope you guys comment down within the section below. Until the next video, you guys, stay safe and take care.
I came on here because I hear people say, why would we as parents buy our children expensive shoes? Why would we buy our children nice things? As if it is not okay to have nice things. And I don't think that young people should lose their lives because we buy them nice things. And we have to change the mindset that it's okay to have nice things and we should not have to die for them in the community. That we can't buy $250 tennis shoes, or we can't buy things that have a value because they might cost you your life. We're not going back to pay less and pro wings and kids. And a child shouldn't die over Alexander McQueen's or Vince Lenciago's or any other thing. We tell our kids to do good in school. We tell our kids to follow the rules. We tell our kids all of these things, and they do them, and we reward them, and they die for a tennis shoe. Today is one of the most heartbreaking days I've had in a very long time, because it's not a conversation without a face of a little boy who was a sophomore in high school who had hopes and dreams. He is real. And he rode past his high school in a horse and carriage for the very last time today. I am mentally exhausted and physically tired. But Black community is exacerbating my mental health, because we are not raising our own community to a standard of excellence. We control how our communities look if we'd actually take control. And we're not doing that. It is unacceptable for our children not to be safe going and coming from school. This is not worry about your four and no more. We can't keep talking about African proverbs and Pan-Africanism and anything else until we talk about black community. We don't need the U.S. attorneys. We don't need more police. We need people to get out of they four and no more. We need people to care about your neighbor. Check in on the people who live next door to you. Check to the left and to the right. Adopt other people's children as your own. I birthed 2. But I believe that all the kids are my kids. And if they hurt, we should hurt. And we can't say they're the generation that went wrong because we raised them. So we failed. And on behalf of the 70s generation, young people, I apologize. We failed. We are epic failures because if you are the generation that didn't do it right, we failed you. And I apologize on behalf of the 70 generation of the 40 mamas who didn't do our jobs. Because it can't be the onus on the child of failure. It's Big Mama's failure. It's my failure. It's Auntie's failure. It's Uncle and Grandpa and Daddy's failures. But they cannot fail themselves. And we have to change the narrative in the conversation in black community. And stop saying they are. No, we are. And how do we redo ourselves? How do we go back into the kitchens and teach our children cooking? How do we go back and sit at the dinner table and have conversations? How do we go back and be engaged with our own families and our own communities? Because the onus of failure is not on young people. It is on us. And I think it's time that as black community, we have an accountability conversation. Because guess what? Y'all see the Facebook, y'all see Instagram, y'all see the gang signs. Those are your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, your sisters, and your cousins. And nobody wants to say, hey, stop it. Young people are dying out here. Because it's have and have nots, and if I don't have it, I'll take it by any means necessary. This is unconscionable. So tonight, I stand with Elijah Reese's family and all of the young people that go to Finney High School or East English Village Academy on the east side of Detroit. As a community, pray for them, check on them, see if they need something. Thank you to Impact Church, who held this funeral and did it with grace and dignity. Thank you to the volunteers that showed up. Thank you to Ceasefire. Thank you to Tamara Smith, who is a woman out here on the front line. Because these kids needed somebody today. And they're going to need people from days to come. But we got to check in with our kids. We got to check in with our neighborhoods. We don't have hoods. We have communities. And we have neighborhoods. Verbiage matters. I love you guys. Good night. It's been a long day. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Concede to beefs. It's okay to stay alive the next day. It's okay to apologize. It's okay to be emotionally aware that